2/3 of leaders actually have mental health issues, and there's a joke that says the other third won't admit it, but it's such a massive or common issue that we all face today as leaders. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that is quite known throughout the world at the moment, but I want to specifically home it in on leadership. We're going to talk about mental health, but mental health in leaders. And so what I want to do is address how we can get over that and how we can use some simple tips to help keep that mental balance in all of our lives. So what I've done, I've gone to 4 key leaders in Northampton. These are 4 people in corporate industries responsible for thousands of staff. How do they keep their mental stability? How do they ensure that they keep that mental balance? And how do we ensure, or how do they ensure, that their decisions remain consistent every single day for the people like us who they're leading?
Being a leader can be a lonely place sometimes, so it's important that you find ways where you can take time to really ensure that the decisions that you're making are informed. When people see you calm, confident, and in both mannerisms, but also in the way that you speak, I think that helps give confidence to those that you are looking to bring with you on a journey. Don't lose sight of the work-life balance as well. Take time out for yourself, whether that's with your family, whether that's with a particular hobby, or whether that's just chilling out, reading a book, whatever it might be. But don't lose sight of yourself and really looking after your mental well-being in all of this, because life's too short, and life's for living, and work is just part of that. If you can enjoy your work, then that's brilliant. But don't lose sight of the bigger picture either.
So for you, your piece could be getting a hobby. It could be coming to a beautiful setting or a scenery, taking time out, sitting reading a book on a bench. But you know your own breaking point, and it's important that whatever level you are, and when you feel that breaking point, there are triggers. When you feel those triggers happening, you take yourself aside. You've got to have the right people around you, and that's something that he clearly said. He knows the right people, whether it's a colleague or whether it's a peer, but somebody that he can just share with. So maybe that's something that we all could do. Sharing's caring, isn't it?
You're as honest and as transparent as you can be. That's the crucial thing, I would say, about my leadership style, if you like, in that yes, I'm chief exec of this building. I'm also a mum to 2 boys. I'm also trying to be a runner. I'm also trying to do all kinds of things. And actually, all of those things make me a better leader. I'm not a good leader in spite of those things. And I think actually, I know it's kind of corporate speak, isn't it? But that bringing your whole self to work is quite important, so that I can acknowledge round a senior management team table that I'm juggling quite a lot actually today, because actually I've done this in terms of the school run, or I've got to leave to go and do a school assembly, and actually I'll be back at that point and what have you, and actually being open about those conversations rather than trying to just continue and not acknowledge that those things are happening. And I think if you can lead like that, and you can share those parts of yourselves that I don't think is weakness. I think it shows a vulnerability, but also shows a realness for what your life outside your work environment is. I think it encourages other people to do the same. And I think if they can bring all of that to work, then actually what you get from them is more honest and more transparent. We use data a lot in this organisation. The minute someone's a bit more transparent, I'm getting a really honest and transparent view of what the challenges are, not a kind of a version or a story that they want to tell.
So a really great interview with Jo there. One of the best things that she said was about embracing who you are. She's a mum, she goes to the gym, plus she's the chief exec of a large organisation. So it's about bringing the best of you to your work, not separating them. Being a leader is leading in every area of your life. And maybe that's where we all need to get to. Food for thought.
In the last probably year, I've started using an app called Headspace, which allows you exactly that, to have a bit of headspace and a bit of time for mindfulness. And I would have never probably explored anything like that, but we, as an organisation, we've been quite fortunate that our CEO has promoted a number of these things, and we've had a number of what we call unplugged sessions, where we have speakers come into our head office in Swindon, and the event is webcast out.
Okay.
And it was something that just got my interest a while ago, so that's really helpful. I also like to do a bit of yoga and some of those things, but I think on a more practical day-to-day, I think it's just taking stock of what it really is you've got in front of you and putting that into bite-sized pieces, because
Okay.
I think a lot of leaders have days where the day could actually completely consume or overwhelm you because the demands are so great and there's so many hours. But I just think sort of breaking those down into bite-sized pieces throughout the day or the week just help me cope with that and have a bit of reality around it.
Some great points from an excellent leader. Hayley gave some great references how to keep herself on the right side of mental health. 2 clear things that she outlined in her interview. One was the support from the organisation, and the second, she used tools. She found an app, and she used that each day to help keep her organised.
So within Nationwide, and then I adopt this personally, we work on what we call the 3 E's. We talk about energising, empowering, and envisioning.
Okay.
So the energising piece is really linked into the well-being and the personal resilience. So there's a whole range of things that we roll out across our business that enables colleagues to think about that from their personal perspective, and that can be anything from physical well-being to mental well-being, etc. And we work hard in areas like flexible working patterns, etc. At a personal level, taking that right down to pragmatics, our CEO Joe Garner, he's constantly talking about the need for well-being as a leader, and likens it to when you're on an aircraft. The instruction in when you've got a problem is sort of look after yourself so that you can look after somebody else. So it's a well-socialised model for us as leaders to be resilient, and we're encouraged, and we encourage others to, in inverted commas, have a thing. It doesn't really matter what the thing is, but have something outside of your day job.
Okay.
So for some it's the gym. For me, outside of work, I'm a dad. And I deliberately and consciously make that switch. So I don't think there are any new silver bullets out there. I think it's more about giving permission to people that you work with and receiving permission from the business you work in to actually then go and do those things.
Okay.
I think we've probably all worked in environments where people say, it's important you take a lunch, but do they really mean it's important you take a lunch? And we've all been there.
Yeah.
I think what I'm finding here in Nationwide, and I guess looking at leaders across the business when we engage with them, there's a sort of real authenticity in that message now to find the time, have a thing, and I guess not be prescriptive with it has to be this thing or that thing. It's something that'll work for you, and we're finding that's really working for us. And as I say, at a personal level, it definitely helps me.
So that's it. 4 key leaders, 4 great examples of and tips on how we can, as leaders ourselves, look at our own mental health. Now, we haven't got all the answers. They've not got all the answers. They've just shared their experience and what they do on a day-to-day basis just to keep themselves at that mental balance. So you've got to find that for you. Take some of their tips, whether it's George talking about personal resilience, whether it's Hayley talking about using apps and stuff like that. How amazing is that? Whether it's Jo just saying about bringing all of herself to work, and whether it's Mark just telling us to look at a structured approach. Whatever it is, we need to find our own balance. So to stop ourselves burning out, to stop ourselves getting to that place where we can't take any more, how about we take advice from some of those people? They're in corporate, responsible for thousands, but they realise the importance of making sure that they have a mental balance.